Hi, today we're going to be talking to you about a new 55 plus community that Troy and I had the pleasure of visiting on Saturday. And actually Troy was back out there today with the client. And we actually thought it was pretty cool. So we wanted to share a little bit about it with you. It's called the Four Seasons at the Ranch, and it's in Rancho Cordova. If you're not familiar with where...
It's out in the Anatolia area for people that kind of know Rancho Cordova, kind of in the southeast side of Rancho.
Yes. And it's off of Highway 50, and it's kind of in between like downtown Sacramento and heading out towards Folsom. And then, of course, up Highway 50 are beautiful Sierra Mountains and Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, and you get some good views from there.
Yes, yeah, it's a great location. So we loved this community. We thought it was fantastic. It's one of the best that we've seen for many reasons. And so maybe we can just kick it off and talk about the floor plans that we saw.
Yeah, and as we go, we can kind of explain why we felt like it was the best for many reasons. Obviously, a lot of people have different criteria on what they're looking for in a 55 plus community. And this one hit for some of the clientele that we're looking for. This one was really kind of hitting. So it's we'll kind of talk through some of the features and kind of show why we thought it was great. We've toured a few others recently too, so we can compare and contrast a little bit on what we liked about this community versus what we've seen in other new home manufacturers.
Yep. And so this home is called Four Seasons, therefore they have 4 collections and they're named after the seasons.
I just figured that out today, that they were.
So the first one is the winter collection, and this is the smallest series of homes. And they range in square footage from about 1,300 square feet all the way up to 1,700 square feet. Generally, they're 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes.
Yep.
And they were all super cute.
Yeah, and sometimes the 3 bedrooms, it's 2 bedrooms and an office.
Right.
I think on most of them, but sometimes they make the office into a bedroom as well. But and they start in the kind of the mid 400s.
Right. So very affordable. And we'll talk about pricing a little bit because it also ties in with how they provide upgrades for these homes and kind of what that looks like. So we'll get to that in a bit. One other thing that's really unique about this community that is actually demonstrated at the winter collection is they have what's called a patio series. I think they call it a quad series, but essentially it's 4 homes placed on one central driveway. And so basically it's a shared driveway, which is great if you are someone that maybe travels a lot and you really don't want a lot of yard to take care of, or if you're the person that's going to just want to go hang out at the clubhouse, which we'll also get to in a little bit, and maybe you're not as likely to be at home in your backyard doing things. This could be a great option for you. They also have plenty of single lot homes, which is just your traditional home on a lot with neighbors around you.
Right. But the little quad homes were cool in that they did share a driveway with 4 homes total, and then they have their own garages. These are all individual homes, so they're not like duplexes or anything. They're individual homes that are just kind of set up so that they all feed off of one driveway. Oh, we have a guest appearance.
This is our cat Squat, and she decided she wanted to join. So
everybody wants our attention.
So,
but they still have their own backyards. So they do have backyards, and they're just fairly small, but it's, low maintenance type backyard, has a covered patios. So they are patio homes kind of, but like easy care.
Right.
So, and reduced cost.
So next is the spring collection. So this is definitely a bit of a step up and kind of has more open concept layouts. Is their standard. Homes range from 1,650 square feet to about 2,000 square feet. Generally, every home in this community is single story. That's really what people are looking for. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage. And they have 3 floor plans like this.
Yeah, right. And yes, and it's nice because now you step up into the extra half bath and a couple of the models.
Right, a little more elbow room. Yes.
Yes. And then we move into the summer collection. Get that, after spring comes summer.
Yes.
We go up in size a little bit. Now we're in kind of the 1,700 to 2,000 square feet. What you see is there's a lot of overlap in the, as we go through the seasons. The square footage is going up, but it's also overlapping quite a bit. And what we get is a few little fancier features. The floor plans are, they add some extra touches. As what I saw in a couple of these, they had things like a triple slide kind of back wall, that opens up onto the patio where the slider collapses into one panel. So think like a 3-panel glass sliding door. So the whole wall is like mostly all glass, and then it just collapses over onto one panel. And it makes it for a big open, like
indoor,
looks really
outdoor
fancy
space.
for, for a home that's in the, mid, 500, under 600,000. It's stuff that I hadn't seen, and it's really nice finishes. So it was impressive, honestly.
Yeah. And then the last collection is autumn. And these are definitely the most luxurious of all of the homes out there. And they are a little bigger. They range from about 2,250 square feet all the way up to almost 3,000 square feet, 2 to 3 bedrooms, 2.5 to 3.5 baths.
Yeah.
2.5.
They had kind of like it looks like a 3-car garage when you drive by it, from the front, but it's really 2.5, as they call it. It's for that golf cart or your toys, or some people like to just have a storage, facility built in. But it's really great options. Also on these ones the prices step up. I think I saw prices kind of under, in the 700s, and down, so, but bigger lots, bigger patios, really nice finishes. I saw some today, and they just had really great floor plans. As they were describing to me, this is for the right-sizers that aren't looking to go into the small. So they, maybe people like having a big house. Maybe they want a bigger house to, have friends over and things. So it's what we find in the seasons is there's, things for everybody, from people that maybe don't want to host at home or have just small parties at home or host their big parties at the clubhouse. Or all the way up to people that want to have a lot of space, have guests over, frequently, or, on occasion, and just want to have that flex room. So it's nice.
Yeah. So speaking of nice, we did want to talk about how they actually outfit each unit, because this is a very unique community in the sense that they don't just give you a bare bones, here's carpet throughout with a tile in the wet areas. They actually have 4 different looks, and they have different levels for each look, but you at least get a minimum look that is desirable. So think like LVP flooring, granite counters,
or quartz, mostly quartz countertops,
and upgraded lighting. You're not going to get the brass fixtures that that just sit up against the ceiling,
ones.
Right. Like we've all seen with like the big builder bar lights.
They come with pendants over the island. They come with wall sconces in the bathrooms, like nice looking finishes, and induction ranges, and like high end. You can upgrade some of these things even further. But the stuff that they show you in the models is what is in the pricing.
Right.
And this is where we've seen things, we've had some other tours recently at some other new builds, not just 55 plus communities. And one of the things that were challenging to us is when you get the price sheet and you look at, obviously it says starts at, but even when you see specific models, this is the price. But then when you actually go and start looking at it, some of these builders had, the prices for very basic finishes. And as the salesperson would tell us, well, nobody gets it with these finishes. Nobody would want that.
Like, why are we even talking about it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Why? No, nobody gets it like this. If you want to have flooring that's consistent throughout the house, or you want to have the quartz countertop, or, kind of just the standard nice, not like gold deluxe, but just like I bought a new home nice. All of a sudden we were looking at, $50, $80, $100, $150,000 step ups just to get to, like, this is kind of what you would see in a model home type, just not fancy, but like I bought a new home, kind of nice. Like I don't want to feel like I spend all this money and then had to compromise on, on the finishes. So that was one of the things we really liked about this, was they had these different looks, and we'll talk through them. And it's funny because they call them looks, but they had a designer come in and pick out things, and then they simplify it by, it's kind of like different packages, and they aren't like step up packages. They are truly, different types of images. Like they have a classic, and do we have notes on? what the,
we do.
I can't, the classic. They refer to it as, sorry, I have some notes I'll refer to here. Timeless and refined, kind of glass upper cabinets. They have like pendant lighting. The ones I saw today they were kind of like had metal structures around them. They just, kind of were just a very classic look. Dual sink in the primary bath, subway tile backsplashes. And then they had different kind of palettes that you could choose within the classic look. So you can also, you don't have to just have one color, but you can have a look, the way that the top of the cabinets, the molding, whether the cabinets go all the way to the ceiling or there's like a gap that makes a different look. They also had like a farmhouse look. This one, they said the farmhouse and also we'll talk about the loft were two of the she said were some of the most popular looks, more modern kind of style. And the farmhouse, no surprise, had kind of some like a black and white in many of the ones I saw, contrast, but also had some open shelving. They have some options for ceiling beams, things like that really kind of help, kind of shape out the look. And, you would need to kind of check it out and see which ones really speak to you. You can see them online, come into the models and see them. Each of the homes had, regardless of which floor plan you were looking at, they would say, this is the farmhouse look right now modeled in this floor plan. So you can kind of get an idea of that look in the floor plan you like.
Right. Yep.
So it's cool.
And I'll cover the last two looks. So there's the loft, which was one of my favorites. So think kind of fun bar in an urban area, that has the pendants with the big glass bulb lights, just kind of light and airy feeling inside, some kind of more gray tone, modern looking, but also very cozy at the same time. It's a little hard to explain, but I thought that was great. And then, of course, there's the elements. So that's your clean, modern, very fresh, understated feel to it. Everything is very coordinated. So it's a very refined, almost like traditional look, I think, to some degree. And one other thing I wanted to mention with these is that all of these homes come with a covered patio in the back, which is really great. When you're in Sacramento in the summer, it's really hot. And actually Sacramento in the winter, when sometimes you just want to sit on your patio and enjoy the rain, it's nice to have it covered and you can just step out there, enjoy it, and go back in when you're ready. And it comes with a
concrete patio that's in the covered area, kind of out to the end of the covered section.
Yeah.
I also learned today that on the models that they already have completed, kind of the move-in ready, as they call them ones, they will do, the backyard will be finished as well. Like a relatively basic, some lawn, a bark, and plant some bushes and some trees.
But not bare dirt, which is
but
fantastic.
Not bare dirt. That's kind of the standard. If you were to go pick a custom lot and design your house, that from the kind of early stage, she said they don't finish the backyard, just that square on the patio. So just some choices.
And before we move on to talk about the clubhouse, one other thing I did want to mention, and this is true for not just this builder, but all the builders we've been going to, there's been a change in California law, and now solar is required for all new construction homes. And you will not see the cost of solar in any of the builder prices, included here at Four Seasons. And there is some contractual reasons they do that. I didn't quite understand why they don't just advertise it, but we like people to know what they are stepping into. However, the communities we've talked to will either allow you to purchase it straight, and that would, or finance it as part of your loan, and that would generally be at a cost of around $25,000.
Yeah.
And then they also have a leasing option for it, and the leases we've seen have been around $145, $150 a month. So it's just good to know and to plan for that as part of the cost of
We've also heard, like today, they in speaking with the sales folks, the solar, I think at this location, the Four Seasons, was under 20,000.
Okay.
And they kind of, if you're using their lender, there's other incentives they can kind of do. If you're using their programs, they can kind of twist and manipulate the numbers. She kind of said, don't worry about the solar. We can basically absorb it for you. So, but you're using some of the incentives to cover these. But it is good to know that every single builder we've gone to, the solar is not in the number. And it is an upcharge,
right.
About 20K-ish, on average. So something to just be aware of.
And it's a great time just to segue a little bit into the financing that we've seen at these communities. Again, not just this one, but all the communities we've been to. They've had some lender, if you use their lender, they do have some incentives. It varies between buy down rates for loans. I think I've seen one as low as like 3.875, which right now is really fantastic. Other times you'll get credits towards your closing costs. We've seen them for like, $10,000, $20,000 towards closing costs. And then also incentives towards design studios at other communities. Here, you really don't need that because it includes.
It's already kind of done.
Yes. Yeah. So, but just good to note.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I think now we need to talk about the clubhouse because we were blown away. Amazing, just amazing.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Yes.
And we've gone to other 55 plus communities. So this one I would say is, like, for example, we've also talked about Lincoln Hills or some of the Sun City communities with the golf courses and the giant clubhouses that have restaurants and things like that in it. This is, I would say, on a different scale.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's a much smaller community.
It is a smaller community. But it still has a 29,000 square foot clubhouse.
Yeah.
And it's really pretty. I mean, it's brand new. It's open. I think there's 70 residents now living already in the community. And so it's great. We've seen some places where the clubhouses don't open and people are moving in and they have to wait. This place already has riding and hiking trails around, wetlands and kind of open preserve areas. Very pretty. And the clubhouse is open. It has a lot of areas for gathering. They were showing that there's like a giant, kitchen room that looks like a living room. It's got little tables and a big, kitchen. It looks like a kitchen. And she says that's where they have like wine events. They have cooking classes there. This is where they get together and have their kind of, they have a margarita. Cinco de Mayo is what I heard is coming up. I might have to sneak in. It sounds like margaritas and tacos. So it was kind of fun. Plus, they've got they had a card room where
you could poker tables.
Poker tables there. And so the sales lady that we were working with said, a lot of people like to bring their friends, family come and visit, and they come and just play at the poker tables.
Right. Yeah, and there was
billiards.
Yep, right next to it.
They got the little shuffleboard, the one that's on the little sand indoors.
Yeah, and a couple other things that were unique. They actually have a huge, I guess I would almost call it ballroom size room, but it's designed for events. And it can be rented by the owners there for really inexpensive. I don't want to quote a price, but I want to say it was like just a couple $100.
It was like 178, I think. Yeah. But I'm not quoting the price, but it was under 200.
Yeah, and it was great because it came with the kitchen for the caterer, and not only do you have that space if you're renting it out, but it had big sliding doors that opened up into a giant outdoor area. And when you rent that space, you have that whole access area as well. And she said it can be used for weddings, family reunions, anniversary parties. So that was a huge feature. And then not to mention, they have a gym, they have an indoor pool, an outdoor pool, pickleball, bocce ball. Do they have tennis too? And
I think so.
And
horseshoe pits.
And a dog park, which is, I don't think we've seen dog parks actually in a lot of the other communities. So we thought that was kind of fun because a lot of people have dogs and, they're fur babies. So it's nice to have a place to take them as well. And
the outdoor pool, it's one of those resort style outdoor pools. So it has a zero entry section. You can put your chair in the water. It has covered areas with ceiling fans. You can like cabanas, it's that you can go sit and lay on your chairs. The client I was with today they have Wi-Fi out there. So, she was like starting to picture herself. She works from home. She's like, this could be kind of a great spot to sit and do my work.
And the one last thing I'd like to add is the salespeople out there are really great. We've had great relationships with them, and they really are there to help the clients that come through. We've seen other sales areas that are a little more persuasive in their tactics. So we really liked how here they really make our clients feel very welcome.
Yeah, Darlene has been great for us. So it's been really nice.
If this is a community you'd like to see, we would love to take you out there and show you around. Give us a call, send us an email, and we'd be excited to talk to you about it and maybe help you take a next step towards your future.
Yeah, let's go see it.